A chat with Glendora, a show for living right. A chat with Glendora makes your day so bright. Words of inspiration, jokes to make you smile. Come relax and chat with Glendora for a while.
Hey folks, welcome to a chat with Glendora. How are you today? We want to only first of all tell you about the little girl who was noisy in church, and her mother whispered something into her ear, and the little girl was quiet from then on right to the end of the service. Well, what did the mother whisper into her ear? The mother says, I told her, if you make a rumpus, the minister is going to lose his place and start the sermon all over again. That would calm down anybody.
That would, yeah.
Folks, we have been told by the universe, our conscience, to do everything we can to help everybody with their announcements. Do you have announcements that you want to get to the public through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and our 78 TV stations, Boston to San Diego? Shall we pick up where we left off on the announcements, dear Stephanie friend?
Yes, let's. So the first announcement that we left off was the Alliance for Community Media.
That's public access in the USA.
The November CMCs and the Future of Local News meetup will feature a presentation from Journalism and Design.
You know, that's a good question, Stephanie. What is the future of local news? What is the future of this?
That's true.
Next announcement.
You are invited to AIC's 140th anniversary time capsule sealing event. On November 19th, in the West Wing, celebrate 140 years of American International College at the We Are AIC time capsule sealing.
AIC, American International College, Springfield, Massachusetts.
The social hour begins at 3, and the ceremony promptly begins at 4.
Anything to eat, honey, in the social hour?
It doesn't say.
Oh.
Then we have some big news that Enrique Casanovas has retired.
Oh, Enrico Casanova. He is a public access coordinator in Trenton, New Jersey, Southern Jersey, for Comcast. Oh, he is a jewel of public access. Enrico, how could you do that to us? How could you go away and leave us? But no, honey, we're glad that you put in such good service your whole life long. Thank you. And you can expect only the best because you were so good to the world. Next, honey.
All right.
Oh, Angelina's going to take over.
Yes, Angelita. All right. And then we've got from an essay from Bobby Reno to Tracy Clegg. Essay on my childhood memories of
Tracy Clegg is the director of the Nassau Free Library.
Yes. Memories of watching Glendora on Satellite 6 with Glendora. Would you like me to read you the whole essay or just some of it?
Yes, please. I don't know. Would I write you to read the essay? Yes. And then what was the other one? No.
Or just some of it? Okay. Local television during the 1950s to the mid-1960s was filled with late afternoons with locally produced TV shows. These shows were inexpensively produced, but were mostly quite good. I remember Teenage Barn, featuring local musical talents, The Freddie Freihofer Show, also known as Bread Time Stories, The Good Ship Popeye, The Earl Pudney Show, but the one I remember best was Satellite 6 with Glendora. As a little girl of 7 or 8 years of age, this show had an impact on me that I didn't fully realize until I was older. You see, most of the children's programs had a host that was a man. Commander Ralph, the old skipper, or Jim Fisk. But Satellite 6 had a woman, and most importantly, she was the captain of a spaceship. This was rare. It was a very rare occasion for a little girl to see a woman in a role that men portrayed. Of course, at the time, I was too young to fully understand this, but Glendora laid the foundation for me that little girls can grow up to be captains of a spaceship if they want. Glendora and Satellite 6 made a historical and profound impact on local little girls, in my opinion.
Historical or hysterical?
Historical. She was a role model who held her own with her nemesis, the Moonimula, and I insisted my mother mix my Bosco like Glendora did on the show.
Bosco chocolate syrup.
I'm not sure if Channel 6, WRGB, ever fully understood the important impact that this local children's show had in giving little girls the confidence to enter into roles that males historically had. Maybe it's time Channel 6 understood that. Glendora continues to be an inspirational role model for me. Her life is dedicated to her faith and ending cruelty to animals. She may not be on a satellite anymore, but she is still reaching for the stars and encouraging all who know her to follow. And that's
Bob B. Reno, town historian, East Greenbush, New York. Thank you for your sentiments, and remember, little girls can grow up to be captains of spaceships.
Yes, they can. All right. Next, we have a letter from Margaret Ann that says, Dear Glendora, I wish you a very happy and blessed holiday season. Thank you for so many wonderful memories. Sent with love and best wishes, Margaret Ann.
She didn't say your oldest TV fan?
No.
She usually does. She's not the oldest, but she's certainly one of the oldest, meaning the most long-running, 70 years. Margaret Ann watched the SS Glendora when she was 7 or 8 years old. 7 or 8 years old. And look at her now, she's about 70. And it still is in her heart, that children's TV show. Well, it should have been. It was a show that Glendora turned it over to the children to run, and the children had little costumes, and they would say, Chief Mate so-and-so reporting from Gloversville, New York, Chief Mate so-and-so reporting from Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and they had little ties and epaulets on their white shirts, and they wore dark pants or dark skirts. It was a show run for children by the children. No wonder they remember it all their lives. They were the big, important producers of the show. Amen.
Yes. Next up for that, we have an email from Dan Mackey that says, Hi, Glendora.
There's another one, 7 or 8 years old from Scotia, New York. Excuse me, dear Stephanie, I interrupted you.
Oh, that's all right.
Dan is from Scotia, New York, and he was sent to us by another fan, 7 or 8 years old, who watched the SS Glendora, Paul Martin, who's out in Oregon. And Paul also sent the name of another one, Carl Kopf, who lives in Amsterdam. Isn't it amazing how they remember these things for 70 years? Aren't you glad you don't owe them money?
Yeah. That his email says, "Sorry for not connecting earlier. Perhaps an email exchange might be better if you have some stories to share or questions to ask. Thanks for your many years of providing a wonderful show and a positive message."
Dan, thank you for your many years of remembering. What's next for announcements?
All right. We have another message. This one's from Wayne. That's, "Hello, Glendora. Here's a copy of the essay which I composed about SS Glendora. A copy has also been sent to Tracy Clegg at the library." Memories of SS Glendora by Wayne Collins. I would like to take the opportunity to share some of my memories of the 1950s television program SS Glendora. This children's program aired on WRGB Schenectady, New York, Channel 6, beginning in the summer of 1955. It was replacing a program called The Friendly Fireman. My memory of the very first episode of SS Glendora is very clear, as it was a very different type of program from any I had ever viewed, and also because it began in a different manner from any subsequent airings of the show. On this first episode, the camera panned in onto Glendora and her three chief mate guests standing on the deck of a ship, which was, of course, the SS Glendora. The guests were two boys and a girl. Glendora held a pair of binoculars and said, "The friendly fireman has left in his rowboat. Can you see him out there?" She then handed the binoculars to the first boy, who was obviously the youngest and smallest of the three children. He said no. She then handed the binoculars to the girl and asked her if she could see him too, which she answered no. When Glendora handed the other boy the binoculars and asked him if he could see the friendly fireman, he confidently replied, "Yep." Each evening, the guest crew members were dressed in uniform. The boys wore black pants with a white shirt and a black necktie, and the girls wore black skirts with a white blouse with a black necktie. Each child was fitted with epaulets, and the uniform was topped with a sailor hat. The hats had an intriguing feature in that each had a card with signal flags stuck in over the visor. These flags were hand-painted by Glendora and her family. On each program after the first, the opening was always the same shot of a little ship labeled SS Glendora rocking back and forth on a cardboard ocean to the tune of the program's theme song, which was Sailor's Hornpipe. The camera then went to the deck of the ship, where each child would come forward, salute, and say, "This is Chief Mate John Doe or Jane Doe, reporting from Schenectady, New York, Troy, New York, Pittsfield, Massachusetts, Dalton, Massachusetts," or whatever the case might have been. During the first few episodes, at the conclusion, one of the boys would announce, "All hands on board, return to your station, back to your duties." This did not take place for the duration of the run. Eventually, the sign-off would be Glendora simply saying, "Smooth sailing." On the television screen, it really appeared as if they were standing on the deck of a real ship. The set was ingeniously designed and built by Uncle Jim Fisk of the Freddie Freihofer Bedtime Stories children's program. The first few nights, the guest crew members were repeat appearances who were children of WRGB employees. After the first few episodes, many children had written in to request making an appearance with Glendora on the program. The guests were chosen by random drawing. It was later realized that one boy had wanted to be so badly on the program that he had sent in 100 postcards. He was
Jimmy Talbot. And he's still on the phone today as a fan.
He was invited to the program and worked behind the scenes. SS Glendora was a 15-minute program which was done live, and there was a lot of entertainment packed into those 15 minutes. Each episode included our cartoon. These were Looney Tunes or Merry Melodies with such beloved cartoon characters as Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, et al.
With Chip Jock.
The cartoon would have taken 3 or 4 minutes of airtime. Other activities might include Glendora seated at a small table demonstrating some trick or talking about one of her contests. For one contest, the first prize was an autograph from Perry Como. The second, third, and fourth prizes were carbon copies of the Perry Como autograph. The year was 1956, and this was the year that Perry Como had his hit record, Glendora.
I'm in love with a dolly named Glendora. She works in the window of a big department store. Go ahead, honey.
Glendora, the real one, was well aware of this recording, and I am sure that when any of her viewers in the viewing area heard the song, that they associated her with it. The young guests were always referred to as crew members, and very often Glendora would engage them in a quiz on a topic such as safety. When a question was answered correctly, Glendora would snip off a piece of her necktie and give it to the crew member who had provided the correct answer. There were also various giveaways which were given as prizes for the quizzes. On one particular episode, a boy had accumulated quite a pile of prizes, and Glendora asked him, "How are you going to get all of this home?" To which he replied, "In the car." She then responded, "I think you'll need a ditty bag, don't you?" This use of nautical terms pervaded the episodes, reinforcing the nautical theme of the program. Glendora created a fictional character named Molly Moe Hudson. At the time, I thought that this girl was a real person. Every so often, Glendora would read a missive from Molly Moe Hudson discussing such matters as a bee sting or some mischief in which she had been involved. There were no breaks for commercials. When a commercial for a product, such as Cocoa Marsh drink, was being presented, it was simply incorporated into the program.
These are recollections by James Talbot, a lifelong resident of Pittsfield, Massachusetts. He's talking about when he was 7 or 8 years old and on beyond that, watching the SS Glendora television show on WRGV Channel 6 Schenectady. And here he is now, 77.
Wow. In one particular instance, several pairs of sneakers were hanging from the ropes. Glendora said to one of the boys, "You've spoiled our bunting," implying that he had tied the sneakers to the ropes. She then neatly modulated into the commercial for the sneakers, and the program continued. The program ran for about a year and a half, from the summer of 1955 into the fall of 1956, when the station decided to eliminate live programs. As the show was nearing the end of its run, one of the episodes showed a large treasure chest full of cards and letters sent in by children who had hoped to appear on the program, but would now be unable to have the opportunity to do so. It is estimated that well over 1,000 boys and girls actually appeared on the show with Glendora over the course of its run. Although I had never written in to be on the program, when I learned that it would be going off the air, I felt bad about it. It was like having a neighborhood friend whose family would be moving out of town, so you would not see that friend again. I wrote a letter requesting a picture to have as a keepsake of the happy time spent with Glendora. I still have that picture today, signed Smooth Sailing Glendora. On the final episode of the program, there was a segment where Glendora was portraying a character leading a meeting. This was a rare occurrence, as she was usually merely portraying herself. She was standing at a small lectern which she kept pounding with a gavel. She was using a lorgnette to read something, and I don't know whether it was deliberate or not, but she pounded the lorgnette with the gavel and then proceeded to read with the cracked lorgnette. At the very end of the final broadcast, a visibly emotional Glendora said, "We will be going to another port, but there's no port like the first one. Smooth sailing." This ended an all too short run for a program which was very unique, the likes of which we had never seen before, and it's most likely safe to say will never be seen again. I hope these reminiscences bring to mind some happy memories for former viewers of the SS Glendora and will create a picture of its essence in the minds of those who were not fortunate enough to have experienced it firsthand.
Wayne Collins, Pittsfield, Massachusetts. What an extraordinary remembrance, Wayne. You are to be congratulated. It was also this program, the SS Glendora, on WMUR-TV, Manchester, New Hampshire, Channel 9, MUR standing for Murphy, Governor Murphy. And it was also on WBZ-TV, Channel 4, Boston, the Westinghouse station,